Good morning, cadets. In the previous session, we have discussed about formation of stationary waves and the difference between stationary waves and traveling waves. And we have found out the equation for stationary wave also, right? Now, a stationary wave is identified with the points of zero displacement called as nodes and points of maximum amplitude called as antinodes, right? And we have discussed about these nodes and antinodes in the previous session. Now let us discuss about the natural vibrations or natural frequencies of these standing waves. They are called as normal modes of vibrations. The most significant feature of these standing waves is that the boundary conditions constrain the frequencies or the wavelengths of these vibrations. Unlike the traveling wave can have any arbitrary frequency, any arbitrary wavelength. But the standing wave, due to the boundary conditions, are constrained. The standing wave is constrained to have fixed frequencies, allowed frequencies, or allowed wavelengths of vibrations. Such allowed frequencies and allowed wavelengths of vibrations, set of frequencies which are allowed, which are not arbitrary, they are called as normal modes of vibrations. Normal modes of vibrations, or you can also call normal modes of wavelengths. Right? Let us consider an example of a stretched string. A stretched string connected between two rigid boundaries. So, the stretched string, let us say it is of length L and being connected between two ends. Right? So, at both the ends it is having rigid boundaries. At both the ends it is having closed ends. Then when the standing waves are set up in such a stretched string of certain length L, what are the possible vibrations? What are the possible frequencies of vibrations? What are the possible wavelengths of vibrations? They are called as normal modes of vibrations or normal modes of frequency or wavelengths. Now let us write the meaning of the normal modes. The system cannot oscillate. The system of forming standing waves cannot oscillate with any arbitrary frequencies. The boundary conditions constrain the possible wavelengths or possible frequencies. So the standing waves oscillate with a set of fixed frequencies. Standing wave oscillates with set of fixed frequencies or wavelengths. These are called normal modes. Normal modes of oscillations or normal modes of frequencies. Consider a stretched string of length L between two rigid boundaries. These rigid boundaries are also called as closed ends, and this is of length L. So I will just draw the diagram. Suppose this is the stretched string taken between two closed ends. The length is L, and we take x-axis. We take x equal to 0 at one end, x equal to L at the another end. When the standing waves are set up on this, then we know the points of zero amplitude are called as nodes, and the points of maximum amplitudes are called as antinodes. What are the conditions to obtain the positions of nodes and positions of antinodes? Let us first find out. First, from the equation, we have from the equation yxt equal to 2a sin x, 2a sin kx. This is what we got yesterday, into cos omega t. From this equation, 2a sin kx represents the amplitude. To have the positions of nodes, positions of zero displacement, zero displacements or positions of zero amplitude. Which are called as nodes. 2a sin kx must be equal to 0. That is, sin kx must be equal to 0. This is the condition. Sin kx will be equal to 0 only when the kx takes the value 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, and so on, n pi. It is possible if and only if kx is equal to n pi, where n takes the value 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Now we know k is angular wave number. Here k is equal to 2 pi by lambda is the angular wave number. Therefore, substituting k equal to 2 pi by lambda in the above equation, Thus we get 2 pi by lambda 2 pi by lambda into x equal to n phi. So pi cancels. When phi cancels, you can see here, x becomes equal to n lambda by 2. N lambda by 2 means at all positions where x is equal to n lambda by 2, we get the positions of the nodes, the positions of nodes. So where n takes the value 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. When you put n equal to 0, you see, when you put n equal to 0, we get x equal to 0. So naturally, since it is a rigid boundary, at x equal to 0, you should be able to get formation of node. So here we will be able to get formation of node. Suppose we have just I am drawing positions of nodes and positions of antinodes. So at x equal to 0, you will get position of node naturally. Another condition is that at x equal to L also, since it is a closed end at the other end also, both the ends are rigid boundaries. At x equal to L also, you should be able to get formation of node. That is point of 0 amplitude. So point of maximum amplitude is called as antinode. So at what positions we get? At what positions we get the positions of nodes is determined by x equal to n lambda by 2 and boundary conditions. So what is the boundary condition here? We must get x equal to 0 position of node, and at x equal to L also we should get position of node. Position of node. With this condition, we will be able to find out the exact positions of the nodes. Similarly, we can find out exact positions of antinodes using the same condition, where sin kx must be able to take maximum value. Maximum value of sin is 1. So if you put sin kx equal to 1, we get the condition for finding the positions of antinodes. If you put sin kx equal to 0, we get the condition for finding the positions of nodes. So if you put x n equal to 0, we get the first node. If you put n equal to 1, we get position of second node. If you put n equal to 2, we get the position of third node. If you put n equal to 3, we get the position of fourth node. So if you take n equal to 1, we get lambda by 2. Next, if you put n equal to 2, we get 2 lambda by 2. So the distance between two successive nodes, the distance between two successive positions of the nodes is lambda by 2. For example, if it is n equal to 0, we get x equal to 0. If it is n equal to 1, we get lambda by 2. So distance between the second node and the first node is lambda by 2. Now suppose if you put n equal to 3, so we get 3 lambda by 2. That is the position of fourth node. If you put n equal to 4, we get position of fifth node. That is 4 lambda by 2. So 4 lambda by 2 minus 3 lambda by 2. We get again lambda by 2. So the distance between two successive nodes is lambda by 2, half of the wavelength. That is evident from this equation. So we can write, so the distance between two successive nodes is equal to lambda by 2. This is the condition for positions of zero displacements or positions of zero amplitudes called as nodes. Note down this. This is first part. Now let us discuss about positions of antinodes. Positions of antinodes. So from this discussion we got the point that the distance between two successive nodes is lambda by 2. Let us take any two successive nodes, it is always lambda by 2. In the same way, we are going to find out the distance between two successive antinodes is also going to be lambda by 2. This is also going to be lambda by 2. Let us see how is it. Now the distance between, in order to have the positions of antinodes, what is the condition here? From the main equation, y equal to 2a sin kx cos omega t. Sin kx must be having maximum value. Sin kx must have maximum value, that is 1. Maximum value of sin value is plus 1, right? So this implies kx must be, see, sin 90 is 1. Sin 270 is minus 1. So we must have kx to be multiple of pi by 2, odd multiple of pi by 2. 1 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2. Odd multiple of pi by 2 we get the value of 1. Let us take magnitude, that is modulus. Then there is no question of minus 1, right? For all the odd multiples of pi by 2, we get the sin value to be 1. That is, kx must be equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2, where n takes the value 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. For example, if n is equal to 1, n is equal to 0. If you put n equal to 0, then we get 1 pi by 2. So sin pi by 2 is 1. If you put n is equal to 1, then we get 2 plus 1, 3. 3 pi by 2, that is, we get sin 3 pi by 2, that is sin 270 is minus 1. So modulus of minus 1 is plus 1. So if you put n equal to 2, then 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 1, 5. 5 pi by 2. 5 pi by 2 means it is again 90. So sin 90 is again 1. If you put n equal to 3, 3 2s are 6 plus 1, we will get 7 pi by 2. 7 pi by 2 is same as 3 pi by 2. Again we are going to get the minus 1. Modulus of minus 1 is plus 1. So for all odd multiples of pi by 2, we get the sin value to be maximum. So for these sin values to be maximum, the amplitude is going to be maximum. 2a sin kx is going to be maximum, which is 2a when sin kx is 1. So this is to be remembered. So this is the condition for obtaining position of antinodes, right? Now again we know that here k is equal to 2 pi by lambda, angular wave number, right? Now if you substitute in this equation, 2 pi by lambda into x is equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2. So again, pi if you cancel, you get x is equal to 2n plus 1, pi cancels here, lambda by 2, 2n plus 1 lambda by 4, 2n plus 1 lambda by 4, yes, 2n plus 1 lambda, it goes to the numerator, 2 comes to the denominator, so it becomes lambda by 4. So at all positions of 2n plus 1 lambda by 4, we get the positions of the antinodes. For example, put n equal to 0. So we get lambda by 4. Lambda by 4 is the position of first antinode. If you put n equal to 1, then we get 3. 3 lambda by 4. That becomes the position of second antinode. If you put n equal to 2, 2 to the 4 plus 1, 5. 5 lambda by 4. So that becomes the position of third antinode. Right? Again, the distance between two successive antinodes is again lambda by 2. You can just check where n takes value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. For example, if you put n equal to 0, if n is equal to 0, then we get x 1, that is the first antinode, position of first antinode, x1 is equal to lambda by 4. If you put n equal to 1, put n equal to 1, we get the position of second antinode, that becomes 3 lambda by 4. 2 1s are 2 plus 1, 3, 3 lambda by 4. So if you take the distance between two successive antinodes, distance between two successive positions of the antinodes, if you take 3 lambda by 4 minus lambda by 4, again it is giving you lambda by 2. 2 lambda by 4, 2 lambda by 4 is nothing but lambda by 2. Thus we get the distance between any two successive antinodes is again lambda by 2. We can verify. Now put n equal to 3. If you put n equal to 3, then it becomes 3 to the 6 plus 1, 7, 7 lambda by 4. Then x3 minus x2, if you take x3 minus x2, 7 lambda by 4 minus 3 lambda by 4. 7 lambda by 4 minus 3 lambda by 4. Again you are going to get 5 lambda by 4 minus 3 lambda by 4. Again you are going to get lambda by 2. If you put n equal to 2, let me confirm it once again. We got n equal to 1 for which the position of antinode is 3 lambda by 4. Okay. Now put n equal to 2. 2 to the 4 plus 1, 5. 5 lambda by 4. So 5 lambda by 4 minus 3 lambda by 4. If you take again, the difference is going to be 2 lambda by 4, which is again lambda by 2. So therefore, the distance between any two successive antinodes is again lambda by 2. Therefore, in between two nodes you will find an antinode. In between two antinodes you will find a node, right? Such that the distance between two successive nodes is lambda by 2, and the distance between any two successive antinodes is also lambda by 2. Okay. Now let us discuss about the fixed frequencies or allowed frequencies, which we call them as normal modes, which are all the allowed frequencies or which are all the allowed wavelengths, using this boundary condition for a stretched string of length L between two rigid boundaries. Now let us calculate the normal modes of oscillation, that is set of frequencies that are allowed on a stretched string which are called as normal modes of oscillation, right? Now consider again a stretched string of length L, stretched string of length L between two closed boundaries or between two rigid boundaries. Then in order to have the positions of nodes, the boundary conditions are x equal to 0 and x equal to L. The boundary conditions here to have the positions of nodes here is x equal to 0, there should be a node, x equal to L, there should be another node, right? Using this we can calculate the positions of the positions of nodes, as well as we can calculate the allowed frequencies, which are called as normal modes of frequencies. Now in order to have this, let us consider the equation which is useful for finding the nodes. X equal to, we got this equation in the previous discussion, x equal to what is that? Condition of forming nodes, x equal to n lambda by 2. Yes, x equal to n lambda by 2. Consider this equation. Now applying boundary conditions, this is positions of nodes where n takes 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Boundary conditions. X equal to 0 and x equal to L. X equal to 0 corresponds to first boundary, x equal to L corresponds to second boundary. At x equal to 0, definitely we will get position of node. So x equal to 0 already satisfies the formation of node. If you put x equal to 0 here, you will get x equal to 0 being the rigid boundary, you will get the position of node. Position of node. Then put x equal to L. That should be again formation of node. Then L becomes equal to L lambda by 2. L lambda by 2. It means in order to have again a node here at the other rigid boundary, it will have a fixed wavelength which is given by L lambda by 2, right? Where n takes 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So L equal to 0, it is corresponding to the initial position, x equal to 0. Now you have to put n equal to 1. If you put n equal to 1, then L is becoming lambda by 2. Then lambda becomes equal to 2L. So that becomes the fundamental mode of wavelength. That becomes the fundamental mode of wavelength. Lambda equal to 2L. Lambda equal to 2L becomes the fundamental mode of wavelength. Using this fundamental wavelength, we can calculate what is the fundamental frequency. Lowest possible frequency that is possible for a standing wave is called as fundamental frequency or first harmonics, that is obtained by putting n equal to 1. So n equal to 1, we get lambda by 2. So lambda corresponds to 2L, that we call it as fundamental wavelength. We should not take 0 here because 0 is already being taken there. So here we have to take 1, 2, 3 and 4. Put L equal to 1. Then we get L becomes equal to lambda by 2. So this we call it as lambda 1. For n equal to 1, we take this lambda as lambda 1. Therefore, lambda 1 is equal to 2 lambda. Sorry, lambda 1 is equal to 2L. This is called the first wavelength that is going to be allowed. So this is called fundamental wavelength. Or fundamental wavelength or wavelength corresponding to first harmonics. Then if this is fundamental wavelength, then we get what is the corresponding frequency. If V is the speed of the wave, if V is the speed of transverse wave, then we know that V is equal to nu lambda. V is equal to nu lambda, where nu is the frequency and lambda is the wavelength. Therefore, from this equation we get frequency nu is equal to V by lambda. Frequency nu is equal to V by lambda. V by lambda. Now we know already what is the value of lambda. Just substitute the value of lambda. That becomes V by 2L. So this frequency we call as nu1 for n equal to 1. So in this way we can calculate the allowed frequencies. So here we have calculated for n equal to 1. If it is for nth harmonics, then we have to take the same equation here, where using this we can write lambda is equal to 2L by n. This is the generalized equation. Lambda is equal to 2L by n. This is the generalized equation for allowed wavelengths, where n takes the value 1, 2, 3 and so on. Here we are calculating for n equal to 1. So for n equal to 2, lambda becomes 2L by 2. That becomes 2L by 2 means L. If n is equal to 3, then it becomes 2L by 3. Lambda becomes 2L by 3. So using this equation of wavelengths, we get the set of wavelengths which are called as normal modes of vibrations of wavelengths or normal modes of wavelengths. We call them as normal modes of wavelengths. So this is the equation for normal modes of wavelengths, for which we have already got what is the equation for fundamental wavelength. By putting n equal to 1, we get fundamental wavelength lambda 1 equal to 2L, and corresponding frequency we get nu1 equal to V by 2L. Now let us calculate the set of frequencies which we call them as normal modes of frequencies. So using the V equal to nu lambda, we get nu is equal to V by lambda as we have done here. Therefore, the set of frequencies that are available is calculated by just substituting the value of lambda. V by lambda is 2L by n. So if you substitute, you will get nV by 2L. nV by 2L. So this gives you set of frequencies, n set of frequencies. Put n equal to 1, you will get fundamental mode of frequency, which is called as first harmonics. If you put n equal to 2, we get second harmonics. That is frequency corresponding to second harmonics. Put n equal to 3, you will get third harmonics. Frequency corresponding to third harmonics. So by just putting n equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on, you will be able to get the set of frequencies nV by 2L. So already we have calculated for the first one. If we put n equal to 1 here. For n equal to 1, already we have calculated. For n equal to 1, yes, already we have calculated. If you put n equal to 1, we get nu1 is equal to 1 v by 2l. So this is called lowest possible frequency. Lowest possible frequency and this lowest possible frequency is called fundamental frequency. That is also called as first harmonics. First harmonics. So for the fundamental frequency, the wavelength is maximum. Lambda 1 equal to 2l. So actually, if you draw, you will have one node formation here, another node formation here. In between, you will have an antinode. So this becomes the waveform of a standing wave for first harmonics. So this is the position of antinode, and this is the position of node. Why is it so? Because we got lambda equal to 2l or l is equal to lambda by 2. L is equal to lambda by 2. That is the possible wavelength. So lambda is equal to 2l is the equation for fundamental wavelength, and equation for fundamental frequency is nu is equal to v by 2l. So this is the corresponding fundamental frequency. In this way, we can calculate the second harmonics frequency corresponding to second harmonics, corresponding the wavelength for second harmonics, frequency corresponding to third harmonics, corresponding third wavelength. In this way, we can calculate, and even we can draw the waveforms of the standing waves. Okay. So for the fundamental frequency of oscillation, for which it is having the lowest possible frequency v by 2l, we get the wavelength. Wavelength is equal to 2l. Wavelength is equal to 2l. Lambda 1 is equal to v by lambda 1. Nu1 is equal to v by lambda 1, which is equal to v by 2l. So we get this kind of waveform. Let us see other harmonics. To find the second harmonics, that is equation for second frequency, that is frequency corresponding to second harmonics. Let us put n is equal to 2. Put n equal to 2. Then we get nu2 equal to 2v by 2l. So 2 cancels, so we get v by l. So from this directly we can write using this equation of v by lambda. You know, v by l is also nothing but v by lambda, because v by lambda is frequency. Using this, we can also write the wavelength corresponding to second harmonics. Lambda 2 is equal to l. So this becomes wavelength lambda 2 equal to l, and frequency nu2 is equal to v by l. So then you will have two segments of, you will have node formation in between. 1, 2, 3 nodes will be formed, and 2 antinodes will be formed, so that the complete wavelength, you can see, if you start from here to here, it is going to be one full wavelength. So the entire length of the string corresponds to one full wavelength. That becomes the equation for second wavelength. Wavelength of second harmonics. And what is this? Frequency of second harmonics. So that's what I will do. Frequency of second harmonics, nu2 equal to v by l. In the same way, we can find out for third harmonics, fourth harmonics, using the same equation. See here, for fourth harmonics, put n equal to 3. If you put n equal to 3, then new 3 becomes. Here it is new 2, so here now we get new 3. New 3 becomes equal to 3v upon 2l. 3v upon 2l, right? Thus, wavelength lambda 3 becomes 2l upon 3. See, this is the third harmonics. Frequency corresponding to third harmonics, and this is wavelength of third harmonics. Third wavelength. So if you draw this for the same length, this is the same length L, we should get lambda wavelength equal to 2L by 3. So we will get 3 segments. This is one full wavelength, lambda plus lambda by 2. Lambda plus lambda by 2 gives you 3 lambda by 2, because we get lambda L is equal to 3 lambda by 2. L is equal to 3 lambda by 2, that corresponds to lambda 3 equal to 2L by 3. So thus we get 3 segments. So L is equal to 3 lambda 3 by 2. L is equal to 3 lambda 3 by 2. That implies lambda 3 is equal to 2L by 3. So what is the frequency here? Frequency u3 is equal to 3V by 2L. So this is the frequency corresponding to third harmonics. So in this way you can draw the shape of waveform for any given harmonics. So these becomes the positions of nodes at x equal to L and x equal to 0, positions of nodes, and in between also you are getting positions of nodes here, and here is the position of antinode. Positions of antinode. So in this way you can also even practice for fourth harmonics. In the fourth harmonics we will have 4 such segments. In second harmonics we will have 2 such segments. In the first harmonics we will have only 1 segment. I think you got the point. For first harmonics only 1 segment. Second harmonic 2 segments. Third harmonic 3 segments. Fourth harmonic naturally 4 segments. For fourth harmonics, first we calculate, put n equal to 4. So equation for new 4 becomes, see in this equation if you put n equal to 4, then it becomes 4v by 2l. 4v by 2l. So that becomes v by 2l by 4. V by 2L by 4, that is V by L by 2. So corresponding lambda here, lambda 4 becomes L by 2. Lambda becomes, for fourth harmonics, lambda becomes, wavelength becomes L by 2. Here it is 3 lambda by 2. So you will get 4 segments. Again these are the rigid boundaries, x equal to 0, x equal to L. This is at the midpoint, half of this. So these are the positions of nodes. In between you will get the antinodes. So that is how we are going to calculate the allowed frequencies and allowed wavelengths. It means when the standing waves are formed on a stretched string between two closed ends, the string oscillates with a set of frequencies, with a set of allowed frequencies called as normal modes, which are classified as first mode of frequency, fundamental mode of frequency, which is lowest mode of frequency, V by 2L, which is having only one segment. Then two segments for which it is nu2 equal to V by 2L. For three segments it is V3 equal to nu3 equal to 3V by 2L. So like this we are going to have the waveforms. So this is being formed in the string instruments. When the string instruments are played by either plucking or being pressed, then the string, which is a stretched string in the string instrument, will be always producing such set of harmonic frequencies, right? These are being found in the stretched strings of the string instruments. So in the next session we will study about one end closed and one end open. One end closed and one end open. You can just think of a tube of glass halfway being filled with water, halfway being kept open to air. So at the bottom end where you will find the water surface, that acts as a closed end, and the open end acts as the mouth of the tube, which is open to air. So one end closed and one end open. How are the harmonics produced? How are the standing waves formed? That we will discuss in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.